The airport was unusually crowded that night, flights delayed, people snoring on benches, and announcements echoing endlessly. Just another sleepless night for many. But among the chaos sat a man whose story no one would believe until that night changed everything. He wore a faded janitor's uniform, his head bowed slightly, clutching a small lunchbox that had seen better days. His name was Ethan Brooks, a single father who worked 2 jobs to make ends meet. He didn't know that within hours, his quiet presence would become the center of a story that would inspire an entire nation. Ethan had been working the late shift at the airport for months. His nights were long, lonely, and filled with the endless rhythm of mops, buckets, and the distant hum of travelers' lives rushing past him. Every night, after finishing cleaning duty, he would sit at gate 14 at the same spot where his late wife used to work as a flight attendant. He sat there, not because he had to, but because it reminded him of her smile, the one thing that kept him going. Beside him, taped inside his lunchbox, was a small drawing, his daughter Lily's artwork, of their little family holding hands under a big blue sky. That night, while Ethan sat half asleep in his chair, a tall, broad-shouldered man in full Navy uniform entered the waiting area. His medals glinted faintly under the airport lights. The man looked exhausted, the kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from lack of sleep but from carrying the weight of command. He was Admiral Thomas Reed, one of the most respected officers in the Navy, returning quietly from an overseas mission. Despite his high rank, he had refused any formal escort, insisting he just wanted to travel like an ordinary man for once. When the Admiral reached the terminal, there were no seats left. He scanned the room and noticed Ethan sitting quietly at the end of the row. "Mind if I sit here?" he asked. Ethan looked up, surprised by the man's presence, but nodded politely. "Of course, sir." There was something in the Admiral's weary eyes, a quiet sadness that mirrored Ethan's own. Without another word, the two sat side by side, the silence between them heavy but strangely comforting. Minutes turned into an hour. The Admiral's head drooped slightly, then gently rested on Ethan's shoulder. The janitor froze for a moment, unsure if he should move, but then smiled faintly and stayed still. The man beside him, despite the uniform and the medals, was just another tired soul needing rest. Ethan knew that kind of exhaustion too well, the kind that seeps into your bones and heart. As the night deepened, a group of passengers nearby began whispering and pointing phones at them. Photos of the sleeping Navy Admiral resting on a janitor's shoulder soon made their way online. But Ethan didn't care about that. He just sat there quietly, making sure the man got a few moments of peace in a world that rarely gave anyone a break. When morning came, the Admiral stirred awake. He blinked a few times, realizing where he was and what had happened. "I'm sorry," he said softly, adjusting his cap. "Did a broken bar sleep on your shoulder?" Ethan chuckled. "Yeah, but you looked like you needed it, sir." The Admiral smiled, a genuine one, something he hadn't done in a long time. "Thank you." Not many people would have let me. They exchanged small talk, and soon, the Admiral asked, "You work here?" Ethan nodded. "Yeah, been cleaning these halls for 5 years now, trying to keep things running and take care of my daughter." "Your daughter?" "Yeah, Lily, 7 years old, smart as her mom was. She wants to be a pilot someday." Something about that answer hit the Admiral deep. "That's a big dream," he said quietly. "And you're making it happen for her." Ethan shrugged. "Just doing what I can, sir. One mop, one night at a time." Moments later, the Admiral's assistant rushed in, clearly panicked after losing track of him overnight. When the assistant realized who Ethan was, just a janitor, his tone changed instantly, growing dismissive. But before he could say anything, the Admiral stood tall and placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Show some respect," he said sternly. "This man gave me something last night that money and medals never could appease." The assistant froze, apologetic and ashamed. Before leaving, the Admiral asked Ethan for his full name. "You'll hear from me soon," he promised. Ethan smiled, not thinking much of it. People said that kind of thing all the time, and life usually went back to normal. But not this time. 2 weeks later, Ethan received an unexpected letter in the mail, stamped with the Navy seal. Inside was a formal invitation to attend a ceremony at the naval base, a guest of honor. Confused and hesitant, He brought Lily along. When they arrived, the Admiral himself was waiting at the entrance. Cameras flashed, officers saluted, and Ethan stood there, completely stunned. "Ladies and gentlemen," Admiral Reed announced from the podium, "a few weeks ago, I met a man who reminded me of what true strength looks like. Not the kind we wear on our shoulders, but the kind that carries others quietly, with no recognition, no reward." He paused and turned toward Ethan. "This man showed me humility, compassion, and dignity when I was just another tired soul. And today, I want to honor him." The Admiral then revealed something that left everyone speechless. He had started a Wings of Hope scholarship, dedicated to helping children of janitors, service workers, and low-income families achieve their dreams in aviation and the Navy. The first scholarship recipient, Lily Brooks. Tears filled Ethan's eyes as Lily hugged him tightly. "Daddy, I'm going to fly one day," she whispered. The Admiral smiled at the little girl and saluted her, a gesture that brought the entire hull to its feet. That night, when Ethan looked up at the stars, he thought of his late wife and whispered, "She's going to make it. Love, we made it." The photo of the Admiral sleeping on the janitor's shoulder had already gone viral worldwide, a simple act of humanity that reminded everyone that kindness doesn't wear a uniform. It lives in the quiet hearts of people who expect nothing in return.